Hi traders, welcome to Elite Currency. My name is Chris and this video is about the euro dollar, pound dollar, and as an exception, pound yen for the upcoming 2 trading days. Let's start with the euro dollar daily chart. I will try to make it short, not to be too repetitive of previous videos. Basically, euro dollar is making a sideways movement in an uptrend. Look at the moving averages, right? Short term is way above the long term moving average. So uptrend is still basically present. If price breaks through this support trend line and this bottom, then there is a chance that price might reverse below 122, basically down to the long-term moving average. All right. But for the moment, as long as price stays above 122, I think actually a bullish bounce rather than a bearish breakout is more likely. And I think that price will either use this zone or a bit lower at 122 for a push up to retest these tops here at 125. Now, whether price will break those tops or not, that remains to be seen. Price could bounce at those levels, or if it does break, all right, then there's a good chance of price getting up to 127. But that's something that we'll have to see as price retests those resistance levels. We'll have to see how price responds to those levels. For the moment, though, that's something that is later of interest. For the moment, this is a bounce or break spot, and I think that a bounce is more likely. If we look at the 4-hour chart here, you can see that basically, let's zoom in a little bit here, you can see that price is basically going sideways like this. We've got resistance just above it here, and we have support just below it. So price is going sideways in this sideways movement like that. Now, a bearish break of that zone is not interesting. Why? Because look, price breaks and then runs right into the daily support levels. So I'm not interested in a bearish breakout on the 4-hour chart. I am interested if price were to break below the 122 on the daily chart, right? A bearish break below 122 is different. But a 4-hour break is not interesting because it runs right into the bullish support zone that could create a bounce. I am interested in a bullish breakout above these resistance trend lines. That could indicate a bullish break towards that resistance zone we talked about, towards 124.75 and 125. And if price were to break above 125.50, then it could even extend up to 127. So that's what I'm waiting for. Bullish price action, candlestick patterns in the 4-hour chart that could push above this zone. That could be a good breakout trade on the euro dollar. All right, so on the 1-hour chart, I don't think there's much to add. You can see that price is just going sideways. It's more, from my point of view, it's about the 4-hour breakout that could occur. I think that there's a good chance that this breakout will occur, and I think that it might occur this week, all right? Because this is already going sideways for quite a while, so let's see if we get the breakout soon. Pound dollar is basically going still sideways. It's in a triangle on this 4-hour chart, and it made an ABC correction up. So it might make another ABC down towards this bottom at around 139. If it does break above this resistance trend line, of course, there could be a bullish breakout as well. So for the moment, I'm keeping an eye on these trend lines. You see the moving averages are quite flat and on top of each other. So there's not really a trend going on here. It's really a pattern. It's a consolidation. It's a correction. So I'm looking for basically for price to break out of that correction to the upside or to the downside. Or of course, price might bounce still at the triangle up or down. All right. So it's all about these trend lines for the moment. I'm not sure how price is going to respond at these levels. I think that it's difficult to tell. I mean, the daily chart certainly is still bullishly aligned, by the way. I should add. Look, the short term way above the long term moving average. So if price does manage to break above yesterday's high at about 140.50, that could be a bullish breakout of the triangle and a bullish break above the resistance trend line. And there could be an uptrend continuation, at least to retest the tops like the euro dollar at about 142.50. All right, so that could be a good breakout trade with the trend on the daily chart. So that's something to be aware of, that maybe the bullish break still a little bit more likely, but will price first retest support before breaking? That could happen, right? We don't know how price will respond to that level. There could be a bounce, and then a breakout, for instance. But on the daily chart, we got to keep an eye on the fact that the structure is still looking relatively bullish, unless, of course, price breaks below these bottoms, below the trend line. Yes, then in that case, a move towards the long-term moving average is also possible. All right, so that's something to keep an eye on. Pound yen, I promised to take a look at the pound yen. Someone, unfortunately forgot. Let me take a look. Yes, it was Pasindu who was asking about the pound yen on Twitter. So I promised to do that in this video and added the pound yen as an exception to the euro dollar pound dollar video as normal. Let's take a look at pound yen. This is weekly chart, and you can see that price is an interesting decision zone right now. Basically, price is testing a support trend line connecting these two bottoms, and it is testing these previous tops and these previous bottoms. All right, so that's an interesting zone here. Previous tops, of course, broken resistance might become support and has become support in the past, and price is retesting that zone again. Pretty strong bearish price action at the start. If we put trend lines like this, we might see a little bit of a rising wedge, and that is a bearish reversal pattern. So if price breaks through the support trend line, it might be breaking a rising wedge too. Then again, price might bounce and retest that resistance trend line again. So it is at a bounce or break spot. I'm not sure if it's going to bounce or break. I think it also depends a little bit on the pound dollar and of course dollar yen. But on the daily chart, we can see that price is really struggling to break through the long-term moving average. So from that point of view, a bounce, right, considering the strong support zones as well, would not be too strange to think about potential bounce. As you can see also, many daily candles have not been able to break through this bottom. So with these aspects in mind, I think a bullish bounce is starting to become a little bit more likely. And the moving averages are still aligned to the upside. The short term is still above the long term, although of course the short term moving average is bearishly angled. So I think probably just better to wait for a breakout of this kind of resistance level at around 150.75 and look for a breakout to the upside above that resistance. That would indicate that price has moved away from this zone, breaking above the resistance, and that there's good space towards the next resistance level up at around 155. All right, that might be a good idea, I think, for my trading. This is day 8. Price is just going sideways for the moment. Let's zoom in a little bit. All right, now, yeah, a breakout might be better because there is a lot of momentum, and this is looking like a bear flag actually. And price, let me put a fib from here to here, only went to the 38.2 fib. So indeed, it is looking quite corrective. So if it does break below this trend line, it could also be breaking a bear flag, actually, like this. But still, I wouldn't be trading that. I don't think it's a good trade just because there's so much support. I would skip any trades to the downside unless there's really a clear bearish daily candle pushing through this support zone and pushing through these fractals. And there's a clear breakout there on the daily chart. On a 4-hour chart, I would not trade it to the downside, as I said, unless there's a daily candle. And I would think about trading it to the upside. Maybe, I'm not sure, this is too early probably. Here there could be a breakout. There could be an early breakout if price manages to break above this zone right here. But I think even better might be a break like this, above this level, a pullback and continue right here. That could be the better trade to wait for. So the pound yen is a little bit indecisive at this moment. And I think that waiting might be the better solution. And I think that on the daily chart, I'll be looking for a bearish breakout. And on a 4-hour chart, I would be waiting for a bullish breakout, probably of the higher level. But yeah, more risky one could be a bit lower. I'll be looking for the break above the higher level and a pullback and continue for a move up to 155. All right, for more analysis like this, you can check out ecs.LIVE at elitecurrency.com, where we provide live analysis and also discuss and show our own trade setups and trade ideas. So you can check it out there. Of course, also free material and free analysis as well. And wish you all good trading. Cheers.